What a glorious day to celebrate our community, as is every day that we come together. I'm Don Taylor, Chairman of the Board of Directors. We have a record crowd here today, so please help everyone get a seat. If you have an empty seat at your table, please raise your hand. Everyone's found a seat? Less than a week after a very devastating storm, we have a lot to be thankful for. Please take your neighbor's hand and bow your head as we observe a moment of silence for the victims and their families. Thank you. A special thank you to all the emergency responders, local disaster relief organizations, and corporate partners that have stepped forward and continue to work tirelessly to meet the needs of our friends and neighbors. In response to inquiries we've received locally and across the state of Maryland, the Community Foundation has reactivated the Disaster Relief Fund. The foundation will match the first $5,000 received, and any contributions will be directly distributed to local nonprofit organizations serving victims of Hurricane Sandy. If you're already supporting local efforts, please continue to do so. We expect that the needs will be varied and extend for some time, and our goal will be to make resources available as needs are identified. Your tables are hosted by members of the Community Foundation's board. They will be happy to answer any questions you may have about the foundation or help direct you to someone who knows the answer. Please stand for the pledge. The flag is to my right. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. It's now my pleasure to call upon Dr. Julius Zant, Community Foundation board member, for the invocation.
Thank you, Don. It's a pleasure to be here, to see all the smiling faces, to feel the enthusiasm, and to feel your energy today. I'm here to do the convocation, and I'd just like to take a moment to relate a biblical story. This is the story of a young widow who finds herself in a strange land, and she's there without means. I think most of you might recognize who I'm talking about. This is from the book of Ruth, which recounts the life of a young woman who's from a foreign country, whose husband dies while he's in this foreign land. So she comes back with her mother-in-law to the land of Israel. While she's there, she has no means to support herself, and she meets this landowner who's related to her mother-in-law. And he has this rich field, and they're about the time of the harvest. So I imagine it's probably about this time of the year. We got lots of cornfields, lots of wheat, lots of soybean. You've seen the combines. And so he's beginning to take his harvest for the year, but he leaves the gleanings in the field so that this young widow and other young women like her can come into this field and reap. And so they are able to sustain themselves through what we would today call an economic downturn. Now, it's very interesting that the people in this room are gathered together with the Community Foundation, because the Community Foundation takes the place in many ways of that benefactor. But in another way, it actually facilitates the roles that you play, because that gentleman was her near kinsman. The near kinsman took the role of stepping into the gap for those who needed that person to stand between them and basically disaster. And so that's where you stand today. through the Community Foundation. We have the opportunity to be the near kinsman for those in the community of the Eastern Shore, not just to provide for them so that they can survive, but to give them a chance for success. That to me is a distinct honor. That to me is a blessing. That to me is a legacy that we can share for this community. Now, I can get a little long-winded, so I'm going to try to be brief up here. It's very interesting that, and I hope you're not offended. Of course, he asked me here to pray. But it's very interesting that the Bible says without a vision, the people perish. So obviously that's where I'm taking my focus from. Now it's incumbent upon us to internalize that vision and then to make it come true, to make it a reality for the Eastern Shore. Let us pray. Bow our heads. Lord, we thank you so much for your grace and for your mercy today. We thank you for the people that are gathered here and the people that they represent. We thank you, Lord God, for keeping our community safe. And we ask you to bless those in communities that have been less fortunate than ours, where the flooding has taken place, for the families whose lives has been impacted, for those who've lost their homes and who need that helping hand. But God, we ask you today to touch those who are involved with the Community Foundation, the leaders, the members, all of the participants, those that are here, the donors, the recipients. We ask, Lord God, that you help us to internalize that vision, that we can make it become a reality for those that we touch, those that we love, those that we know, those that we see. Give us your grace. Give us your wisdom. Give us a heart of compassion and strengthen us today that we might be the witness for you. We ask you to bless this meal and the hands that prepared it. In Jesus' name we all say, amen.
Thank you, Dr. Sanford. What a wonderful message. We'll now have lunch and reconvene in about 20 minutes. Please enjoy your meal. Would each director please stand and remain standing until all names have been called, and please hold your applause until the end. John Allen, John Barrett, Jay Berge, Todd Burbidge, Jackie Cassidy, Jane Corcoran, Anna Marie Dickerson, Charles Gosley, Carolyn Johnston, Duke Marshall, Kathleen McLean, Jim Morris, Melody Nelson, Susan Purnell, Ernie Satchel, John Stern, Lou Taylor, Lauren Taylor, Jim Thomas, Mike Truitt, Dave Voris, Stephanie Willie, and Julius Zant. Please, a nice round of applause for this dynamic group. And now it's my time to embarrass someone, which I enjoy doing. Dr. Spicer Bell, would you please stand? And remain standing. I'd like to recognize and thank Spicer, who served as the Foundation's president from 2004 to 2012. Under Spicer's leadership, the Foundation experienced significant growth in assets and expanded its proactive grant-making significantly. During his tenure, the Foundation established the Eastern Shore Nonprofit Support Center, became the sponsor of the ShoreCan Volunteer Network, and the foundation is indebted to Spicer for his hard work and dedication. Please join me in another round of applause in appreciation of Spicer's service to the community. I would like to now call the business meeting of the corporate members of the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore to order. It's now my pleasure to introduce Melanie Nelson, Chairman of the Membership Committee, to present the report of the membership, and Susan Purnell, Treasurer of the Community Foundation, to review the fiscal year 2012 audit.
Thank you, Don. On behalf of the Membership Nominating Committee, I'd like to report to you today that I'm pleased to have this opportunity to stand before you and recognize an outstanding individual who we would like to nominate to the Board of Directors for the Community Foundation. First, before I do that, I would like to actually thank and recognize the members of my committee for their fine work and outstanding support to help us each year with our membership responsibilities. I'll announce their names if they'll stand, and please hold your applause. Jay Berge, Art Cooley, Charles Gosley, Kathleen McLean, Ray Shockley, and Jeff Turner. And thank you very much for all your support. This year we have one of our board members, Jay Berge, who is retiring from the board after 12 years of service, and we're very grateful, Jay, and we thank you for your dedication over these years. Thank you. With that seat being open now, we actually, on behalf of the membership committee, we would like to now nominate our new member, Thomas Coates. And if Tom will stand, please. Tom is an attorney with the law firm Coates, Coates & Coates. He is a retired certified public accountant, actively involved in his community. Tom is the past chairman of the Atlantic General Hospital. He currently serves as and on the Board of Trustees with Peninsula Regional Medical Center. He is a board member for the Humphreys Foundation. In his free time, Tom enjoys golf, skiing, and hunting. He currently resides in Berlin with his wife, Kathy. And first, Tom, I'd like to thank you for being here today, and I would like to propose this as our nomination, and at this point, may I have a second? Lou Taylor, thank you. All those in favor, say aye. Thank you very much. Welcome to the board, Tom. Secondly, we have 3 current board members whose term has expired, and they are up for renomination again for 3 more years. And I would ask that these 3 board members stand when I call their name. Ernie R. Satchel, Kathleen G. McLean, and Lauren C. Taylor. And I would like to propose and nominate these 3 board members for another 3-year term. Do I have a second? Don, thank you. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you. Thank you very much. And last but not least, I now would like to submit the 2013 Board Membership Committee. And I'm going to, as I name the following membership nominees, if they'll please stand. Jim Allman, Art Cooley, Charles Gosley, Ray Shockley, Jeff Turner, and Kathleen McLean. And along with myself, we are asking for the nomination of these membership committee members to be approved. And do I have a second? Second, Jim, thank you. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. So moved, and thank you very much.
Thanks, Melody. TGM Group, LLC, conducted the Foundation's fiscal year 2012 independent audit. As in all prior years, the auditors issued an unqualified audit opinion, which indicates the financial statements fairly reflect the financial position of the Community Foundation. Summary financial statements can be found on pages 26 and 27 of the annual report, which you have in your laps. Comprehensive financial statements are available at the Foundation's office or online at www.cfes.org. Our assets as of June 30th were $78,742,845. Pretty great. The majority of those assets remain invested in a highly diversified portfolio, which is managed by Mason Investment Advisory Services under the supervision of our investment committee chaired by Tom Hershey. In spite of volatile market conditions, our portfolio continues to perform very well when compared to other community foundations across the country. At this time, I would like to ask for a second to my motion to accept the 2012 audit. All in favor indicate by saying yes. Did you give me the second, Jim? Thank you.
Is there any additional business to come before the Foundation at this time? Hearing none, the corporate meeting of the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore is now adjourned. I would like to bring your attention to the 2012 annual report of the Foundation. They're located at your tables. This year's theme is Changing Lives, One at a Time. We are grateful to our annual report and annual meeting sponsors, PNC Bank, Mason Investment and Advisory Services, First Shore Federal Savings and Loan, BB&T Bank, Pepsi Bottling Ventures, Raymond Shockley, Francis Scott Key Family Resorts, Pam and Mackie Stansel, and Taylor Bank. Would also like to thank Jackie Cassidy of Flowers and More for the centerpieces and Walt Warren of Peninsula Printing for donating our programs. The inside front cover highlights some of the more significant events for the Foundation during the past year. I'm pleased to report the Foundation received $4.3 million in gifts last year and distributed over $4.4 million in grants to the community. Many individuals donate their services to the Foundation. On page 25, we recognize these individuals and businesses that support special projects and events. The Community Foundation thanks these individuals and businesses for providing us their special talents and services. The report also recognizes the many other friends who support the Community Foundation through annual giving, by volunteering as community members on one of our many committees, by declaring their philanthropic intent to include the Community Foundation in their estate plan and have become members of the Legacy Society, by joining in our grant-making program as partners in giving. Your Community Foundation does not simply react to needs. It works with local, state, and regional partners to identify challenges and craft unique and effective solutions. For example, over the past 3 years, the Community Foundation's Community Initiatives Committee has worked with stakeholders to improve the region's ability to deal with the problem of homelessness. This type of collaboration is imperative to solving our most pressing community needs. Each year, the chairman gets the honor to recognize one individual for outstanding service to the Community Foundation. This year's Chairman's Award recipient joined the board in 2000, has served four three-year terms. During his tenure, he has served on the membership committee, the chair of the audit committee. He has also been a strong advocate for the mission of the Community Foundation and the charities we support. He has been an ambassador in Worcester County by promoting the Foundation's good works and always keeping his community top of mind. It is my very distinct pleasure to present Jay Berge with this year's Chairman's Award in honor of his service. Jay, would you please come forward? This time I'd like to introduce our new CFES President, Dr. Doug Wilson.
Good afternoon. Do I need to tick this up? I don't want to ruin it. Anyway, I want to echo Don's comments and thank you all again for being here with us. This is a great day for the foundation. We do this annually and look forward to it every year to see your smiling faces. And I'm up here filling some very big shoes of Spicer Bells back there, and I'm going to do my best, and I know nothing will keep you from my doorstep should you think I'm doing something wrong. Anyway, by being here, all of you are reaffirming your faith in our community and the work of the Community Foundation. You energize us and you inspire us for all that you do in improving the lives of all the people in the communities that we serve together. And you know, Spicer did leave a huge legacy at the foundation, one which I am trying to emulate. And so I do want, as Don expressed his thanks, I also want to express my thanks to Spicer as well. Spicer, you should be proud of your accomplishments and the dedicated and professional leadership you provided during your tenure as president. You left some very big shoes to fill, but I want you to know that I pledge to you and everyone here today that I will work tirelessly to fulfill our mission as we move to grow our foundation for all of our collective benefits in the years ahead. And so if I could just have one more round of applause for Spicer Bell. Thanks. I'd also like to recognize our board members. You know, they provide hours and hours of dedicated leadership and support for our organization, and they're passionate about what they do. And as we all know, our board members are critical to our success through their guidance and hard work, and frankly, they don't receive enough credit and thanks for all the things we do. How many board members, no matter what kind of organization, how many board members do we actually have here today from any organization? You all guys all deserve a well round of applause as well. Okay, so what I'd like to do now is introduce and thank the great staff that we have at the Community Foundation. So I'm going to read this off to you, introduce them by the number of years they've actually worked at the foundation. So the person with the most longevity will be first. So please stand when your name is called. B.J. Summers, who is our Donor Relations Officer, has been with the foundation for 15 years. Erica Joseph, our Director of Programs and Development, has been there for 9 years. And Pat Strasberg, who kind of keeps things together as our office administrator, has also been there for 9 years. Where's Pat? Oh, there you are, way in the back. David Plotz is our controller, and David's been there about 4.5 years. Where's David? Oh, okay. And Schoolcraft, who's here with a camera, is our Public Relations and Marketing Officer, and she's been with us 2 years. And lastly, aside from myself, who's only been there 3 months, we have Sharon Dixon, who's our finance officer, and she's been with us 1 year. And where is Sharon at? Ah, there she is in the back. Thanks. We are really fortunate, and particularly I am really fortunate to not only have a great board, but to have a great staff. They've been educating me, bringing me up to date, keeping me abreast of things, and instructing me on all those things about the job that I need to know and understand. And I don't know what I'd do without you. Thanks to all of you. I'm sorry? Oh my God. Heather. I know you'll be beating me when I get back to the office, but Heather Towers, our Assistant Program Officer, she's been there for 2 years. I'm terribly sorry I missed you. There she is in the back as well. Thank you. Oh boy, I'm going to get it now. Okay, let me move on quickly. I'm just going to summarize quickly some historical points from last year. In all, we have 539 funds at the Community Foundation, which represents all of our donor activity and agency participants as well. We received last year, as of June 30, 2012, 1,139 gifts to the foundation, and we awarded 1,048 grants. The foundation provided general operating support for area nonprofit and faith-based organizations to the tune of over $1.5 million. We distributed from donor-advised funds $2.4 million, which is a record in grant making made possible through the generosity of individual donors through their charitable funds at the Community Foundation. We distributed scholarships to over 200 students this past year, totaling nearly $300,000, another record year for scholarships from the foundation. And we provided capacity building grants and nonprofit support programs totaling $281,000 this year. That's over $4.4 million, as something Don alluded to earlier. The foundations provided this money to address pressing community needs, enhance the educational aspirations of local students, and funding support to local not-for-profit organizations. Another highlight of this past year has been the phenomenal success of our Women's Fund. A year ago, our development staff, several of our board members, and a group of local women came together to brainstorm about how they could work together to make a difference in the lives of women and girls on the Lower Eastern Shore. To start, they all got out their checkbooks, and 1 year later, these women have raised over $126,000. The fund has over 100 visionary founding members and has given $25,000 in grants to local nonprofits that address the unmet needs of women and girls. What an example of the power of collective philanthropy when you have all these women together who've taken up an issue of women and girls and pooled their assets together and then provide grant money to organizations that support the needs of women and young girls. Additionally, the foundation, in cooperation with several of our nonprofit partners, continues to work on the homeless dilemma. Our community initiatives and community needs committees are working on identifying new opportunities, and our scholarship and education committees continue to reaffirm their work moving forward. And I know that B.J. Summers would get mad at me because I skipped over another sentence. And inside of our annual report, anyone who's interested in becoming a member of the Women's Society can jump on there and fill it out and send us a check, and you can be involved in supporting women in our community. Finally, on a personal note, I would like all of you to know how much it means to me to have this opportunity to be part of this wonderful organization. Although I have crossed paths with the foundation over the years, I never really experienced firsthand the impact the Community Foundation has on our lives and the lives of all of our neighbors. Everyone in this room today is here because they support or are somehow connected to the good work done by our foundation. Whether you are a charitable organization who has been a beneficiary of support or a donor who has provided our foundation with the resources to offer that support, you are a part of our Community Foundation family. And I am proud to have been chosen to lead the foundation into its next chapter and beyond. And through all of our collective efforts, we can make a difference to the people who live in our communities. So thank you very much. Now, I'm going to move on to what everybody's been looking forward to, and that's the annual awards. So without any further ado, the first award we're going to be giving out tonight is the Volunteer of the Year Award. The Volunteer of the Year Award is an exciting new addition to the Community Foundation's annual awards program. This award is a complement to the Shorcan Volunteer Center's presence at the Community Foundation. The center was brought under the foundation's umbrella of services because we know how important volunteers are to charitable organizations, and our center is very capably run by Heather Towers in the back, whom I forgot to mention once before. This is the second year for the award, and its purpose is to honor the sacrifice, commitment, and value of volunteers. All of us employed by nonprofit organizations know that without the support of volunteers, we could not do the work we do. The Volunteer of the Year Award was created to recognize the sustained and unselfish contributions of volunteers in our community, whether it's delivering a meal to a shut-in, mentoring a child, caring for an abandoned animal, and thousands of other volunteers that do work for all of us that go above and beyond every day. In presenting this award, we are honoring not only the recipient, but all our volunteers in the spirit of volunteerism throughout our communities. In addition to the actual Volunteer of the Year award, the honoree will receive $1,000 for a charity of their choice. At this time, I would like to introduce Community Foundation Board Member and Chairman of the Volunteer of the Year Selection Committee, Dr. Carolyn Johnston, who will introduce the 2012 Volunteer of the Year. Thank you.
Good afternoon. It was my honor to serve as the chairperson for the annual Voluntary Award Committee for the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore. Deciding whom the award would be named for was one of the first items on our committee agenda. After discussion, the committee came to a decision: who better to represent the Volunteer of the Year Award than its first recipient, Mrs. Mary Gladys Jones. She is no stranger to anyone here. This extraordinary woman officially retired after 47 years of teaching in Worcester and Wicomico counties and the migrant program, only to begin her volunteering career. Her past honors include Fruitland Citizen of the Year, Outstanding Citizen of Maryland, an all-around star volunteer, Maryland's You Are Beautiful Award, and an Unsung Hero Award. But perhaps she is best known for her 29 years of dedication and volunteering of her teaching talents, time, and financial support to the Fruitland Community Center. Mrs. Mary Gladys Jones, will you please stand again? Mrs. Jones, would you accept the honor of having the Volunteer of the Year Award of the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore named for you and your many contributions to our communities and children?
Thank you so much. I'm truly honored.
In perpetuity, the Volunteer of the Year Award will be known as the Mary Gladys Jones Volunteer Award of the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore. Now to the current business at hand. The Seton Center, established by the Catholic Charities of the Diocese of Wilmington, is a neighborhood community center located in Princess Anne. The Seton Center staff work to identify and to respond to the needs of local residents, especially the area's migrant farm workers. Working alongside staff are many dedicated volunteers. Our honorees come as a twosome and sometimes are lovingly referred to as Neil Simon's The Odd Couple from the 70s sitcom. While one is tall and robust, the other is shorter and diminutive. While one is laid back, the other labors over decisions as a perfectionist. One was Eastern Shore born and raised, the other located to the Eastern Shore after retirement. They are a twosome who have given of their time and heart to the Seton Center since their retirements. They've made a vast difference in expanding, organizing, and contributing to the general operation of the Seton Center's food programs. One, a former Purdue truck driver, and the other, a general store manager and mechanic, use their experiences to make significant contributions in the field of community service. They always seem to show up when they're needed most. Between them, they spend an average of 80 hours per month to ensure that all tasks are completed. One, a volunteer at the Seton Center for over 10 years. The other, a volunteer with the Seton Center for over 5. They complement each other by the pride they take in both their volunteer work and each other. They are in charge of the food donation storage, loading, unloading hundreds of pounds of food for the emergency pantry, and the organization of the kitchen. Both feel that out of all the reasons to volunteer, the most important is giving back. Both have felt blessed throughout their lives and felt inspired to do for others by giving back to their community. Clearly, the tale of these two friends is a great story of volunteerism and dedication. These two gentlemen truly embody the wisdom of Mother Teresa when she suggests that life is not so much about great things we're called to do, but rather about all the everyday little things that we do with great love that can make a significant difference in the lives of many. It is my pleasure to announce the recipients of the Mary Gladys Jones Volunteer Award of the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore, Mr. John Leatherberry and Mr. Al Nurmi. Mr. Leatherberry. Mr. Leatherberry and Mr. Nurmi, will you please join me to receive your awards?
There they come.
What a great story.
It is.
There's so many.
Now we'd like to move right on to the Nonprofit Award of Excellence, honoring Richard A. Henson. The Nonprofit Award of Excellence was established in 1989 to honor Richard A. Henson for all of his generous contributions to our community. The Henson Award for Nonprofit Excellence sets a very high standard for nonprofit organizations serving our Lower Eastern Shore. The organization selected to receive this award was to make an outstanding contribution to the well-being of residents of the Lower Shore by responding to a significant community need, show ingenuity and innovation in utilizing resources, and demonstrate excellence in board leadership and responsibility. Once again this year we received many nominations for a lot of great organizations, and it made our choice extremely difficult. And in addition to being honored by the Community Foundation, the organization will receive a $5,000 check to support their organization. At this time, I'd like to introduce Mr. Marty Neat, former Foundation board member and chairperson of the Nonprofit Award of Excellence Committee, who will introduce this year's Henson Award recipient. And I'm also, just as a little aside, proud to announce that Last year, Marty was the recipient of the Frank H. Morris Humanitarian Award, and so he's a double doer. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Doug. I might add, too, this award is sponsored by PNC Bank, and there's nothing I enjoy more than to give away their money, so... I'm delighted to be here today to present the Community Foundation's Henson Award for Nonprofit Excellence. This award is presented annually to a nonprofit organization that has implemented a program or project to make an outstanding contribution to the well-being of residents of our area. Organizations nominated for this award continue the spirit of excellence that filled the life of Richard A. Henson. These organizations exemplify Mr. Henson's philosophy that achievements in the nonprofit sector should carry an entrepreneurial spirit, that resources should be effectively marshaled to address community needs, that nonprofits should demonstrate board leadership and responsibility to carry forth their mission and cultivate the financial support of the community. The organization recognized today truly fits that criteria to a T. While it was founded in 2009, it is a key part of a community asset that has served our community for more than half a century. That community asset is the Salisbury Zoo. The organization being recognized today is the Delmarva Zoological Society. The Salisbury Zoo is one of the finest small city zoos in our nation. It is one of 5 zoos with national accreditation that has free admission and free parking. Our zoo touches the hearts of more than 300,000 visitors per year. According to an economic impact study by Beacon, it brings over $17 million of economic impact into the local economy annually. Not bad for a free zoo. Its impact on our quality of life is far-reaching. The zoo's educational department's programs allow children to attend zoo camp or have visits at their schools or on their field trips to the zoo. But a few years ago, our zoo was at a crossroads. Because of the conditions of its animal health clinic, the zoo was directed by its national accreditor, the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, to replace that facility or potentially lose its accreditation. Without AZA accreditation, our zoo's ability to acquire new animals such as the Indian bear, spider monkeys, and red wolves would be compromised. And it wasn't simply a matter of a national regulator being unreasonable. The zoo very much needed the new clinic. In fact, surgery on its beloved 37-year-old Indian bear, Poopsie, a fixture at the zoo until its passing last year, had literally to be performed outside the clinic because of lack of adequate facilities inside. And zoo leadership recognized that the clinic wasn't the only need. The William Morgan Visitor Center needed to be rebuilt. New exhibits, including a walk-in aviary and Australian exhibit, were needed to bring new species of animals to the zoo, including wallabies. All told, the price tag for these projects was $3 million, a big challenge for any group, and particularly a big one for an organization that, while it had raised money, had never done a capital campaign. Moreover, and more importantly, it was 2009. There was indeed a significant community problem. In fact, it was a national problem. The economy was lousy. It wasn't the time to do a capital campaign in the views of many in the community. In fact, a quote, "What are you, nuts?" attitude was probably the first reaction of many to that proposed campaign. Fortunately, zoo leaders such as Ron Alessi, Bob Cook, Joel Hamilton, Debbie Abbott, Stacy Weisner, Kathy Bassett, the list goes on, weren't nuts. And they had enough Dick Henson-like qualities that they knew our community would respond to the needs of our beloved zoo. And so the DZS was founded to work on as the fundraising arm of the zoo, to work with the Salisbury Zoos Commission and organizations such as Friends of the Zoo to make these improvements a reality. Its mission is to work to renew the zoo by promoting, raising funds for, publicizing, and supporting the Salisbury Zoological Park's exhibits, education efforts, and projects. Over the past 3 years, DZS worked diligently and creatively on its campaign. And earlier this year, it exceeded the $3 million goal for the campaign. In some ways, it was a textbook campaign, receiving support of community leaders such as the Henson Foundation, the Purdue Foundation, the Long Family Foundation, the Hollowell Foundation, as well as hundreds of members of our community who love the zoo. Heck, even a few banks made contributions. But easily the most creative part of the campaign, and something that I think that Dick Henson would have loved most, was Just Zoo It, an ingenious way of including local school children. Last Halloween's campaign raised more than $30,000 with the active participation of thousands, literally thousands of local kids. This results, while undoubtedly impacted by Hurricane Sandy, are still to be collected. And perhaps the coolest part of this campaign is that the kids get to sense the joy of giving that Dick Henson would often call it. The chance to make a difference and to help the community, to learn the lifelong appreciation of the value of volunteering and working together for a common goal. Last year's Just Zoo It campaign was so successful that the zoo was able to fast-track the Wallaby exhibit. It's now a year ahead of schedule. In fact, the zoo has 2 wallabies right here in Salisbury. They're still in isolation, but the exhibit is being built and will be opening in the near future. So the campaign was successful despite great odds. The project is ahead of schedule, and the entire community, including thousands of kids, were involved. Dick Henson would be impressed. I know we were. It is with pleasure that I present the 2012 Henson Award for Nonprofit Excellence to Delmarva Zoological Society.
We don't ever want to miss a chance to say thank you. This award means just the world to our board. If our board could stand, Amy Taylor Sevigny is our board chair, and if our board members could stand, we have 2 tables from DZS. We have been working very, very hard, and it's like most of y'all in this room know how hard it is to pull together events and committees and fundraisers. In the best of times, it takes a village. It takes a lot more people than you're aware of. And this was one of those things that I've been involved in that I'm probably most proud of, that and Ben's Red Swings, I guess. But this, the Henson Award is so fitting because we'll tell you the end story, how it ties back together to Mr. Henson. We want to thank those that helped us get started as a nonprofit. We're only 3 years old. So J.P. Dubuque was our first board chair. He and his family moved to Florida, but we don't want to leave J.P. out. We had a campaign cabinet that really worked hard. We were meeting weekly. It takes hours and hours and hours of work, and we had so many people that were involved in that. The Community Foundation, I would go all the time for training. They're always there for advice for us. We have a Renew the Zoo fund there, hint, hint. And they've always been wonderful in every aspect of the way, so thank you for that. And the Chamber of Commerce has been there for training and everything we need. Our office is at the 2nd floor of the Chamber, which works out nicely. Marty talked about the Wallaby exhibit. It'll be open up later this month. The Wallabies are there right now in quarantine, but the exhibit is ahead of schedule. We're really excited about it, and you'll be hearing a lot more about that soon. So we're really excited about that. I want to thank, we have an outstanding team of donors who have helped us. Morgan and Colleen Hazel, if you would stand. The William E. Morgan Visitor Center is the old A-frame building at the zoo and dire need of replacement. And they have sponsored and honored the William E. Morgan Environmental Center. So they were our largest single donor aside from state grants. So they were just huge to us, as they always have been to our community. So I wanted to thank you. Kathy Bassett, Director of Development with DZS. It's just so much fun working with Kathy. When we talk about Delmarva Zoological Society, which I'm very proud to be the executive director of, we have a great board and we have a great zoo staff. The zoo staff, especially like during Hurricane Sandy, you have no idea how hard they work, how many hours they put in, and what unsung heroes they are. We work so hard together with them. We make great partners, but there's a lot of other parts of the zoo that a lot of people may not be aware of. We have the docents. We have 2 docents here with us we're just pleased to have. We have the Friends of the Salisbury Zoo. There's a lot of parts that make the zoo run. All everyone knows is that the zoo is free. We want to keep it that way and keep it a world-class institution. The Eastern Shore delegation, led by Norm Conway, we could not have done it without you. You were so supportive. We really, really appreciate it, Norm. The City of Salisbury and the Department of Public Works. We'll talk about Just Zoo It in a second, but they step in every time we need help, and we really are appreciative. It's a great private-public partnership to run the zoo, and it works well. Last year, we started Just Zoo It. If you haven't heard of it, I hope that you will soon. But basically, Pepsi donated cans, and they had a coin slot top. And the kids at Halloween would go around and ask people to just zoo it. And would you please give some pennies or nickels or dimes? And they brought in $32,000 worth of coins, 2 tons of coins. First Shore Federal counted 2 tons of coins for us.
It was 4 times.
It was really, really fun. It took a lot of organization and a lot of time to give out 8,000 cans. We went into every school class or assemblies at the schools in Wycomico County, every single class, wearing a warm wallaby costume that was very well received by the kids. And it was really, really fun. This year we were able to double our cans to 16,000. We went into 3 counties. We had other counties calling us. So this year we went into Somerset County, 4 schools, Dorchester County, 2 schools, and late last week we received late word we could get into Worcester County schools. With the storm coming, we're going to put that off to next year. We thought that was appropriate. But I want to tell you just a brief story as an example of how Just Zoo It works and why the zoo is so beloved. There was this little girl at Woodson Elementary in Crisfield, and from all accounts, I'd never met her before, but the staff at the school told me that they kept telling me about this one little girl, and she was the sweetest little thing, just cute as could be. And apparently she would never have money even to buy ice cream. They would never have $5 to send in for something. She could never bring in different supplies, a very financially strapped family. And this little girl brought in a can full of coins and thought it was just, that touched us as much as, larger donations too. But that child, it meant something to her. She made a huge donation to us. She gave what she was able to give. We've had people that have given us $5 a year for 3 years. We've had people that have made pledges over 5 years. And we've had people that have made just unbelievable gifts. They all matter. We couldn't have reached our goal with that little can from that little girl. So it's stories like that that are really heartwarming, and we just want to thank you so much for giving us the Henson Award. And the Henson Foundation has sponsored the Wallaby exhibit, so that's why this is also fitting. So Mr. Henson, I think we're proud that we brought it in quicker, under budget, and a year ahead of schedule. So thank you again on behalf of DZS.
Well, that's kind of what we're all about, eh? The last award, the Frank H. Morris Humanitarian Award. The Frank H. Morris Humanitarian Award was established by the Community Foundation in 1991. The purpose of this award is to honor Frank Morris's lifelong dedication to the community and the high ethical values and professional standards that Frank exhibited in his personal, professional, and community life. Frank's philanthropic spirit, his integrity, his compassion for others are values that still enrich our community today. They are values that we hold dear and wish to encourage in others. We continue to value them by annually presenting the Frank H. Morris Humanitarian Award. And right now, I'd like to recognize members of Frank's family. I think that are here. Sue Morris, which Frank's wife, if she's here. Yeah, there she is. She was a 12-year member of our board, and she continues to serve on the Community Needs Grants Committee. And we also have Jim Morris with us, I believe, today. There he is. Yeah. Jim is a current board member, and he's on, obviously, the Morris Humanitarian Award Committee. As you see, Frank's family continues his legacy of giving back to the community by virtue of the impact he has had on his family and others as well. For the past 21 years, this coveted award has been presented to individuals who have made a vital, sustained, and unselfish contribution to Lower Shore communities, individuals who have demonstrated the values, vision, and leadership practiced by Frank Morris. And in addition to the award itself, each honoree will receive $1,000 for a charity of their choice. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Susan Purnell, one of our board members and a member of the Frank Morris Humanitarian Award Committee, who will introduce this year's Frank Morris Humanitarian Award recipient. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Wow, it's a real privilege to announce this year's recipient of the Frank Morris Humanitarian Award, especially because this person has been a friend of my family's my whole life. I guess I'm giving something away here. Now you know he's at least 39. The reason I refer to age at all is that this individual has had a lifetime of community service with many organizations, exemplifying the standards of Frank Morris himself. And like Frank, once these commitments have been made, this person is a lifer. Let me give you a few examples. Over 50 years ago, the Rotary Club welcomed our honoree, and through the years, he has held every leadership role, including president, for 2 terms. As a member of St. Peter's Church, this dedicated parishioner has served years on the vestry, including the position of senior warden, and is still today a member of the Finance Committee. He's been an active board member of the Red Cross for 2 decades, twice serving as chairman. And he has served the John B. Parsons Foundation in a leadership role for at least that long. And for 3 decades, he has volunteered his talents in the poultry industry with the Harry Hughes Center for Agroecology and the Maryland Agricultural Educational Foundation. Now, with all of these time-consuming volunteer positions, in 1998, our honoree, looking for something to do, I guess, joined the Pets on Wheels program at Deer's Head, taking his beloved yellow lab, Kira, for bedside visits for 10 years. After the 10 years, Kira passed away, but our honoree's participation at Deer's Head did not stop. He joined their Citizens Advisory Board, where he became chairman. Through the interactions with legislators and through a concentrated effort to gain community support for Deer's Head, many people attribute his efforts to keeping this state hospital open. Currently, he is vice president of the Deer's Head Voluntary Auxiliary Board. Now, not only is he an active participant in all the fundraisers, he's often been known to dip into his own pocket to support such things as the staff Christmas party when there was no money in the state budget for this. Many of the people on the Frank Morris Award Committee did not know this year's honoree because he has not been in the limelight like some of our past winners. He is a role model for humility, quiet and unassuming. One of his associates at Deer's Head says, "He is one who listens and does. He does not volunteer through lip service, but with his hands and his feet. He's one who shows up, rolls up his sleeves, and pitches in." One of his fellow Rotarians said that he has come to interpret the Rotary motto, service above self, as WWJD, or what would Jerry do? Jerry who? I'd like to introduce you to Jerry Truitt. And I don't know where you're sitting, Jerry. Oh, there he is. I saw you coming in. Jerry Truitt, our 2012 Frank Morris Humanitarian Award recipient.
Come on up, Jerry.
Congratulations. Thank you, Susan.
You have something to say?
I really don't know what to say. Surprise. This is one of the biggest surprises of my life. And I just appreciate the honor. I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. But I've enjoyed doing everything I've done, and I hope I've made some good in all the organizations I've been involved in. And thank you very, very much.
Jean would be so proud.
Congratulations to all of our award winners. I would ask the recipients to come to the podium immediately after the conclusion of the meeting for pictures. In closing, I'd like to share a few thoughts from Gregory Lewin Sue, entitled "The Best Day of My Life." Today, when I awoke, I suddenly realized this is the best day of my life ever. There were times when I wondered if I would ever make it to today, but I did. And because I did, I'm going to celebrate. Today, I'm going to celebrate what an unbelievable life I've had so far. The accomplishments, the many blessings, and yes, even the hardships, because they've served to make me stronger. I will go through this day with my head held high and a happy heart. I will marvel at God's seemingly simple gifts: the morning dew, the sun, the clouds, the trees, the flowers, and the birds. Today, none of these miraculous creations will escape my notice. Today, I will share my excitement for life with other people. I'll make someone smile. I'll go out of my way to perform an unexpected act of kindness for someone I don't even know. Today, I'll give a sincere compliment to someone who seems down. I'll tell a child how special he is, and I'll tell someone I love just how deeply I care for her and how much she means to me. Today's the day I quit worrying about what I don't have and start being grateful for all the wonderful things God has already given me. I'll remember that to worry is just a waste of time, because faith in God and His divine plan ensures that everything will be just fine. And tonight, before I go to bed, I'll go outside and raise my eyes to the heavens, and I will stand in awe of the beauty of the stars and the moon, and I will praise God for these magnificent treasures. As the day ends, I'll lay my head down on my pillow, and I'll thank the Almighty for the best day of my life. And I will sleep the sleep of a contented child, excited with the expectation, because I know tomorrow is going to be the best day of my life ever. I'd like to ask Dr. Zant to come forward and give the benediction, please.
Is this the best day of your life? Awesome. It is a distinct honor and a privilege to be affiliated with the Community Foundation. Do you feel that way? I feel that way. This is a time of year of celebration. The major holidays are fast approaching. It's a time of year for Thanksgiving and a time of year for giving gifts. You know, I've done a lot of things in my life that I thought were really significant. And there have been times in my life that I can think back on that I thought were significant even historically. But I feel really, really, really blessed and privileged to be a part of the Community Foundation. And I think that this can be one of the most significant things that I've ever done. And I think you feel that way too. I just want to go back to that theme about the near kinsman. You know, we have lots of folks in our community that have been impacted by the storm. Many of us have been blessed that we've not had to have the flooding, but some of us have. We've not lost our homes, but some of us have. We've not been displaced, but some of us have. So just remember those in our community that you might be able to touch and be a blessing to. Remember to be the person that leaves the gleaning in the field for that one that needs it, especially as we approach these significant holidays. If you bow your heads, may the Lord bless and keep you and cause his face to shine upon you until we meet again, and may his blessings ever be upon your life. Thank you and amen.